Hello, welcome back to From the Source podcast, episode 25. And today we're going to be speaking about 5 myths that I've come across on TikTok over the last week or so that I see people talking about and why they're probably or definitely bullshit. And if you're just starting off training and stuff, it's easy to see why people can believe them when they're not. So you'll obviously seen loads of advice that people chuck around on social media. Obviously I'm one of them that kind of talks about it. There's a lot of these gurus and fitness fanatics and wannabe PTs and stuff like that talk about all these things and make controversial topics about it. So obviously people watch the content, but it's just purely clickbait. So we're going to be talking about 5 different myths today. Going to be a bit of a quick episode, but just going to kind of fire through them, and hopefully some of these you've seen and most of these you don't believe, and definitely by the end of it you don't believe these myths. So first one is you need to train every day to see results. Now you'd have seen probably over all social media about people overtraining. That's what I've mentioned before. Overtraining and training every day are similar, but they're definitely not the same. Overtraining is just like working your muscles to complete exhaustion, whereas training every day to like see results is obviously just going to the gym every day. But the kind of way to break that down is, if you can go into the gym every day, are you training hard enough on the days that you go in? Because if you are, you definitely will want the rest days. And it isn't just something that you can just be like, oh, I can just keep training and going back. You just can't. If you train chest and train it hard enough, you can't like pick anything up the day after or push yourself off the floor. So what's the point in going to train the day after just because you want a big chest? It just doesn't work like that. So obviously training every day can hurt your progress. And I think it was last episode where I talked about like rest days, where the rest days are the most important days. You recover, you grow, it allows you to rest and feed. Whereas training every day, you're just going to absolutely knacker yourself unless you're a pro athlete and you're training every day. I'll say training every day. You're doing stretching and different types of training, low intensity, so you can maybe class them as training every day. So obviously your muscles grow and recover when you're sleeping and when you're eating, hence the resting. So you want to be doing like 4 or 5 quality sessions a week rather than 7 days a week and tell your mates, oh, I've been to the gym 7 times this week. It doesn't really matter. Just a load of crap. So obviously the rest days help with the burnout. Someone mentioned on social media, think of it, your recovery is like charging your phone. If you've got no power, your phone won't work. So if you don't recover, rest and charge your batteries, you're not going to be able to train. So rest days will actually make you stronger. Not training every day will make you better. And realising that in your plans, taper weeks are also good. They'll help you recover. And when you go back for your first session back after your taper week, you'll be miles better. No one can just train it like 12 intense weeks of training. Even like pro boxers and stuff like that, they'll have taper weeks and rest days and stuff. So, you know, that first myth of training every day, that's just like some Ronnie Coleman YouTube video that's been spat around social media and twisted. It's a load of crap. Now, this next one is, it's a big one that is in the female world, but obviously in general, people talk about it, but lifting weights will make you bulky. This was a common one when I was starting training, and it's doing back the rounds again. Lifting weights will not make you bulky unless your plan is to be a bodybuilder and be bulky and lean. But lifting weights, you know, regularly just on a strength plan will not make you bulky. It'll strengthen the muscles up and it'll strengthen your joints up, but it won't make you bulky unless you're eating loads of calories and not moving and just piling weight on in certain areas that you want to get big on or training certain muscle groups. It won't work. And obviously the misconception years ago, which has obviously changed now because CrossFitting women and women bodybuilders and stuff have changed that, but women, if you lift weights, you get bulky. which is not actually true, because obviously women don't have as much testosterone as men, so they struggle to get as big as men. In order for the women who or may see on socials that are as big as men, there may or may not be additional substances that have helped that. But the results really of you lifting weights, it won't make you bulky. It just depends on the type of weights that you're doing and the goal. So you look at Mo Farah, for example. He's lean, marathon runner. He lifts weights, but he's not bulky. He lifts like weights in a different way to maintain his strength and his power. There's not an ounce of bulk on him. There's obviously a lot of lean muscle, and that's about it. Lifting weights won't turn you into a bodybuilder. If you're 16, 17, 18, listen to this, you're not going to be massive in an instant. It takes decades to get big, or at least 5-6 years of solid training to get there. Your body isn't developed at that age to withstand such size and strength. You're not going to be a bodybuilder overnight, and lifting weights will definitely not make you bulky. So that's myth 2 destroyed. Fat loss. Now, I've been speaking to a few people recently face to face about fat loss, about learning, losing fat. So myth number 3 is you can target fat loss in one area or specific areas. If anyone's got the answer to that, please answer that in the comments, because I have no idea where. You can't shut your eyes and tell your body where to lose fat. You just cut food out of your diet, all the food out of your diet, lower your calories, train. Where do you specifically tell your body to lose the weight? So picking specific spots isn't true, isn't real. Your body itself will decide where the fat falls off of. Sometimes most men, it's most common that you have fat in like your belly and the muffin top over your hips, if you will. Women kind of get bigger bums and bigger thighs, but that's not necessarily meaning that if I started training today, I'd start losing fat off my stomach first. It could be off my neck or my arms or wherever, my arse. It could be wherever. So if you then decide to do like 100 sit-ups because you want to lose fat off your stomach, it won't work like that. Obviously your abs will get stronger, but that fat won't shift any quicker because you're targeting certain muscles. Fat loss is all dependent on the amount of calories you put in your body and the amount of calories you burn to get rid of it. So if you want to lose weight, all you got to do is train harder, burn more calories than you put in your body. It's as simple as that. So obviously, if you're in a deficit and you're only in 100 calorie deficit, you won't potentially lose it, or you will not lose it as fast as if you're in like 1,000 calorie deficit. The problem with that is if I'm a man averaging 2,500 calories and I was eating 1,500 and I was training, I'm going to be hangry. It's not going to help my recovery, so that big deficit isn't beneficial. So maybe rein it in till 500 or a bit less to start with, and then progressively build it from there. Strength training will help with your overall body shape. Imagine underneath all the fat, the strength training is helping sculpt that dream body that you want. And then once you start to lose the fat, then the nice body that you dream of is exposed, and voila. But you can't specifically lose fat in certain areas. That's a stupid thing, a stupid myth. I used to see people wrapping bin bags around their stomach and going out for a run, because if they take the bin bag off and they're really sweaty, it must be meaning that they've lost it from just their stomach. But all you've done is stop your pores or restrict your pores from sweating, and you sweat more in your stomach because your body has to work harder. And in general, you're losing fat all over, not just in your stomach. That's an old myth that is just a load of crap. Myth number 4, cardio is the only way to lose weight. Now, cardio, when you see bodybuilders, they just walk on a treadmill. That isn't the only way they're losing weight. Obviously, you're probably burning more calories doing that than they are lifting weights, but you can lose weight walking up the stairs. You can burn calories and lose weight walking up the stairs. I don't know, playing paddle, going for a long run, going for a walk, lifting weights, doing whatever. They say that going for a walk burns more calories than going for a run, but then that depends on the intensity. you burn a shitload of calories. If you go out on your bike and do a high intensity workout, you burn loads there. So it's completely false that cardio is the only thing. Talking burns calories. Sitting in a sauna burns calories. It just, literally anything burns calories. We burn calories just with our heart beating and stuff. So obviously, if cardio is the only way you'd lose weight, then the people that didn't exercise still won't be like burning any calories and contributing to the weight loss. It doesn't make sense. So like strength training will help you maintain any muscle and kind of keep that metabolism high. And obviously, the more you're working out, the more you're doing things, you're going to lose the weight if it fits in line with like your calorie intake. If you're burning 2,000 calories plus the 2,000 that you burn standard anyway, that's 4,000. If you've eaten 4,000 calories worth of food, you're not actually going to lose weight. So that's where you need to be working out your nutrition intake if you could really be arsed with that. But too much cardio with too little food sometimes will slow results down because your body isn't getting enough food in to even start processing all that training you're doing. So you're probably going to be in pain from training. You're not eating a lot of food and you're trying to train really hard and you're getting no results. So you got to get that mix of strength, cardio, rest, and obviously mixing in all the food. So cardio is great. Obviously, you've got to keep yourself active, keep yourself moving. Not only just like sitting in front of the telly all day, but cardio is not king. So myth number 4 is busted. It's up for debate depending on which way you look at it. And then this last one, this is probably around like these. I see a lot on socials of like people bodybuilding and stuff and like eating super clean and making themselves depressed and all that lot. I've seen quite a few videos of that even today. But this last myth is you must eat clean 100% of the time. Now, I definitely don't eat clean 100% of the time. I train as hard as I can do when I can do, and I eat good food, but I love a chocolate bar, some sweets, some biscuits, going out for a few beers. But it's this kind of 80-20 rule that people try to work close to. So 80% of the time I'm eating like good food, and then 20% of the time I'm actually enjoying myself and having a life and eating some of those crapper foods. But my part is that I feel slightly guilty for eating that, so the next day I'll make sure I go out and do some exercise or do something just to make myself feel better. So eating clean all the time, you will just hate your life. There's some people out there that love it, but you will absolutely hate it. I used to know people that go to the cinema on dates and take their own packed lunch, which would be like chicken and rice. And imagine going on a date with someone and you're having an ice blast and they whap out a box of chicken and rice, and it ain't going down. That just isn't working. So be flexible with your eating. Allow yourself to have some fun. You have to have a little bit of a blowout here and now. Even that's just like a cheat day, cheat meal. Every like Saturday and Sunday on weekends, you don't really give a shit what you eat. Whatever works for you. But eating clean 100% of the time is not going to work for anyone unless you're elite athletes and you're getting your food cooked for you and all of that lot. You're not. If you're hungry, you're going to jump in a shop, snack on a pasty, carry on with your day. Whoop-de-doo, it's that pasty, probably high in calories and it eats into your daily intake, but it's not going to send you over the edge if you're an active person. So you're just making training and life harder for yourself. So yeah, eating clean 100% of the time is near on impossible unless you're completely dedicated and have no life and no friends. So if you are that person, fair play to you, because I definitely couldn't do that. So 5 myths quickly banged out, 15 minutes, easy. If you are aware of any of these myths or you've fallen for these myths before, I remember when I first started training and my parents used to tell me that lifting weights all the time will stunt your growth and make you all bulky and all weird shapes and stuff like that. I soon forgot about that and just carried on, but that was one that used to get me. But if any of them myths have tricked you, let me know. if you've got any more myths out there that you've heard about and you want me to talk about, or I'm just interested to know what people tell each other and what we all believe as humans. But yeah, drop a comment and let me know. Message us on Instagram or comment on the YouTube. And please smash the like button, subscribe to all the YouTube or the Instagram or the TikTok, whatever you're watching this on. Or if you listen to this on just like Spotify or Apple, if you just hit us a quick review. And if you found any of this useful, send it to someone who still thinks that lifting weights will make you bulky. And you can now tell them that it definitely won't, and you just need to pull your head out of your arse and get it out of a book and actually do your own research and understand that it won't do that. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, thanks for supporting, and I'll see you on the next one.